I almost never use this word. Almost no serious weather forecaster does. Because the atmosphere always carries uncertainty, there are always scenarios where the setup falls apart. I know that better than anyone, and I am using it anyway, because right now, in this specific pattern, at this specific moment in the tornado season, one word is the only honest word left: inevitable. Here is what the Storm Prediction Center said just days ago about Tuesday, May 12th, still days away at the time of this recording. A deepening surface low developing across the Central Plains, Gulf moisture surging northward, a shortwave impulse ejecting from the northwest. These are not small signals. These are the exact same ingredients that have produced every major tornado outbreak since March. And they are assembling again, right now. But Tuesday is not even the main event. Tuesday is just the opening act. The real story, the one that should have every person in Tornado Alley paying close attention, is what comes after Tuesday. May 19th through May 26th. That single week accounts for more tornado reports than any other 7-day window in the entire 76-year modern tornado record. 6% of every tornado ever documented in the United States has occurred in that one specific week, and it arrives in 10 days, in the middle of the most relentlessly active severe weather pattern in recent memory. Here is the fact that stopped me cold when I first processed it. In 2026, through 13 consecutive weeks of major severe weather events, an EF5 tornado, an EF4, multiple EF3s, 2 tornado emergencies in Mississippi in a single night, 12 confirmed American deaths, the Storm Prediction Center has not issued a single high-risk day. Not one. Let that sink in for a moment. The most extreme warning level in American meteorology, the designation reserved for days when forecasters have high confidence in a widespread catastrophic tornado outbreak, has not been used once in a season that has already killed 12 people and produced some of the most violent tornadoes in recent years. That means one of two things. Either 2026 has somehow produced catastrophic events without ever assembling the specific combination of ingredients that justifies a high risk, or the worst days of this season are still ahead. I believe it is the second. This season's ledger is already brutal. Week 1 of March, 32 tornadoes, 8 deaths, including a mother and her 13-year-old daughter, and an EF3 that killed a 12-year-old boy in Michigan. Week 2, 106 tornadoes in a single outbreak, an EF5 in Indiana with winds reaching 200 miles per hour. April brought an EF4 in Enid, Oklahoma, 175 mile per hour winds, 40 homes destroyed. 2 tornado emergencies in Mississippi in a single night, 13 consecutive weeks, every single week. Not once did this pattern fully reset into something stable and quiet. If you've seen any of this play out near your area this spring, drop your state in the comments right now. I want to know exactly where this season has hit hardest. And here is why it keeps happening. The Gulf of Mexico is still warm, still willing to surge moisture northward into the plains every time a surface low develops. The Canadian blocking pattern is still active, still ejecting shortwave energy into the central U.S. on a nearly weekly schedule. The dry line is still sharpening every afternoon across Texas and Oklahoma. None of the large-scale drivers that have fueled 13 weeks of outbreaks have shut down. The machine is still running, and it is loading again right now for Tuesday. Let me walk you through exactly what Tuesday looks like and why it matters. A shortwave impulse ejects through the northwesterly flow aloft across the Central Plains. This triggers surface low development, the same process that has driven every major plains outbreak this spring. The deepening low pulls Gulf moisture northward on its eastern flank. The cold front pushes south, and as those two boundaries converge, the dry line and cold front interact in exactly the way that produces organized, dangerous thunderstorm development. The SPC is using measured language at this forecast range, as they should, but here is what 3 months of tracking this season has taught me. When this pattern describes a day 6 setup with a deepening surface low, Gulf moisture return, and converging boundaries, it verifies with more violence than the early language suggests, more often than not in 2026. The question for Tuesday is the same wild card that has appeared in almost every setup this spring. How far north does the Gulf moisture surge before the shortwave arrives? If moisture stays limited, Tuesday stays marginal. If it surges into central Oklahoma and southern Kansas, which this pattern has done repeatedly, Tuesday escalates fast. The communities that need to be watching Tuesday's forecast evolution most closely: Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas City. This is the classic Central Plains tornado corridor, the same geography where the dry line sharpens and Gulf moisture collides with desert air every May. If you live anywhere in that corridor, start watching the forecast updates this weekend. Not Tuesday morning, this weekend. Because by the time Tuesday arrives, the window to prepare may already be closing. And subscribe right now if you want those updates the moment they become available, because this situation is moving fast and I am tracking every shift in the models daily. There is one piece of geography that deserves specific attention: northeastern Mississippi, just southwest of Tupelo. That corridor has fallen under 41 separate high-risk outlooks since the year 2000. 41. That is the highest concentration of high-risk overlap anywhere in the United States. It is not a coincidence. The flat terrain, the Gulf Moisture Highway, the proximity to the mean dry line position make it the most reliably dangerous severe weather geography in the country. It is the same corridor that absorbed 2 tornado emergencies in a single night just days ago, and no high risk has been issued for it yet in 2026. Now I need to talk about May 19th through 26th, because this is the core of what makes the word inevitable the right word. That single week in the calendar accounts for 6% of every tornado ever recorded in the United States. 6% in 7 days. In 76 years of modern tornado records, no other week comes close. Researchers have documented it, climatologists have confirmed it. And in 2026, it arrives in 10 days, inside the same pattern that has been producing outbreaks every week since March. Front-loaded season does not mean finished season. The seasonal forecasters predicted activity would be front-loaded, and they were right about the front. But front-loaded is a statement about distribution, not about May going quiet. The pattern that drives the May 19th through 26th window, the Canadian trough, the Gulf moisture return, the converging boundaries, is still fully active. It has not retreated. It has not reset. If you have family or friends in Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, or Nebraska, share this video with them right now. They need to be watching this window closely, and they need to understand what is coming. Here is what preparation looks like for the next 2 weeks. Not just on the days I flag as dangerous, but every single day. The atmosphere does not send you a personal notification before it chooses to deliver its most violent event. It does not wait for a convenient afternoon. Know your shelter location right now, before Tuesday, before May 19th. Keep your overnight weather alerts active every night through the end of May, because some of the most deadly tornado events in American history have occurred after dark, when people are asleep, and the warning time feels impossibly short. And there is one specific tool I need every person watching this to understand before the May 19th window arrives, because it did not exist before 2026, and it is going to be the most important piece of forecast communication during whatever outbreak unfolds in that window. The Storm Prediction Center has introduced a conditional intensity grading system. When you see a SIG-2 tornado indicator on the SPC Outlook map for your area, it means this: not only is a tornado possible, but if one forms, it is likely to be EF2 or stronger. Capable of removing roofs from well-built homes. Capable of throwing vehicles. Capable of killing. When you combine a CIG2 tornado indicator with an enhanced or moderate risk level on the same map, that combination historically produces the deadliest tornado outbreaks in American history. The SPC has never combined a high risk with CIG2 indicators before. The system is brand new. And when, not if, when the first high risk of 2026 is issued alongside CIG2 tornado indicators, that day will be the most dangerous single day of this entire season. Watch for that combination every morning from now through June. The large-scale pattern right now is being compared to 1974 and 2011, 2 of the most catastrophic tornado seasons in American history. The same Canadian blocking low, the same Gulf moisture access, the same progressive shortwave pattern ejecting energy into the plains week after week. In 2011, the deadliest outbreak came in late April and early May, after people had already been hit multiple times and believed the worst was behind them. It was not behind them. In 2026, 13 weeks of outbreaks have already occurred, and the most historically dangerous calendar window is 10 days away. The communities across traditional Tornado Alley, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, Nebraska, have spent much of this spring watching the Midwest and Deep South absorb the season's worst outbreaks. That changes now. The dry line sharpens in May across exactly this corridor. The Gulf moisture surges into exactly this geography. Tuesday's setup targets this region. The May 19th window targets this region. If you live anywhere from central Texas through eastern Nebraska, your attention window is open right now, and it does not close until the end of May. Check the SPC Outlook every single morning. When the risk level rises for your county, take it seriously before the storm is on radar. not after. A massive tornado outbreak is coming before the end of this month. I say that not to frighten you, but because the data, 13 weeks of verified outbreaks, 0 high-risk days issued, the most historically active week of the calendar year 10 days away, every large-scale driver still fully active, leaves no other honest conclusion. One outbreak, one afternoon, one tornado striking one community. That is all it takes to define an entire season for the people who live there. The ingredients for that outbreak are assembling right now. Tuesday is one candidate. May 19th through 26th is the highest probability window. But the pattern is loaded, and it has been loaded since March. Know your shelter. Keep your alerts on every night. Watch the SPC map every morning. And when CIG2 tornado indicators appear on an enhanced or moderate risk for your area, act like your life depends on it. Because it might. I will be back with updates as Tuesday's setup sharpens and as the May 19th window comes into range. Stay safe. Watch this space.